Hello, hello. Billy, you're the first one in. Let me just finish sending out the messages to everybody. Boring like that. Not that many people come in, but that means that we get more of a personal chat. Darcy B, how you doing, Tony Pavel? Happy Saturday. And how are we this very fine day? Everybody all right? Hang on, just put it up on Twitter, and then I shall be with you. Chat and giggles. Six people in. Oh my God. Wait, I'm not ready. If I knew how, I'd actually set it up so that it gave me time to do all this, go around everybody, let everybody know that I'm here. But I don't, because I'm rubbish. All okay here? Who got the day off? Back to work tomorrow though. Yeah, no, I don't work anymore. I'm retired. Billy says, I'd like to know how your trading is going and how you're doing it. I'm doing spot trading most of the time. I don't tend to do futures trading. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I put a bit in, like $40 or $50. Sometimes $100. Just to. But I do it on 3 times. Yeah, and that's exactly why. But I pay a guy to give me some calls, and then what I do is I put them in on a very low return, low risk. You know, just pennies return. And it works out all right. It's not huge amounts of money, but to be perfectly honest, I'm not after huge amounts of money. I just need to make $100 a day. Yeah, I'm doing crypto trading. Finally, one big protest in Dublin today. Really, thank God for that. Some people are awake. I've been looking at well, I've been watching Charlie Ward again, obviously, but I've been looking at a few of the different things that are going on around the world, and basically, I can see that there's so much more going on now that people starting to wake up. Oh, there you go. You might get a reflection then. Let me put the light on. Yeah, there's so much more going on. People are awake. The Save the Children movement is starting to take off, which is phenomenal. And what it's all about. I mean, cut all the rest of the crap out. You know, who cares about the recession if we can save some children? And that's the main thing. And that's, somebody reminded me today that that's what this is all about. You know, the politics and everything that goes on behind the scenes is all very interesting, but as long as the kids get saved, then everything else can go to shit, basically. But it's interesting, really interesting. I keep going on about it, but I feel like I'm sitting, although I'm sitting in real life, I feel like I'm sitting in a cinema and watching this epic movie going on in front of my face, which I'm part of because I'm living it. So yeah, I'm finding it illuminating. That's the word, illuminating, because it's just interesting to see the difference and the different takes. Because obviously, I'm looking at it from a Trump point of view because I can see that he's the best for the country. And then I'm looking at the other side, the Biden side of things, and I'm looking at them going, "Are you for real?" You know, some of the stuff that they come up with, I don't get it. I know it's politics, and I know it's you know, politicians lie, but oh my God, it's so blatant. You know, I mean, we expect it here. I mean, we've got no politicians that ever do what they say they're going to do. You know, you've got a manifesto. You can get to the end of the 5 years and literally go through the manifesto and say, well, they did something on that bit, and yeah, they might have done something on this bit here. They haven't really done that, and so on and so forth. And it's I mean, it just gets depressing. It doesn't matter who you're voting; they all don't do what they say they're going to do on the tin. I mean, I came out of politics when UKIP went into meltdown, because that was my chosen political party. I know that we're never going to run the country, but it was there as a checks and balances for the Conservatives. Where's Trump's bigger, better healthcare? Nowhere. You're kidding me. You have got to be kidding me, Bill. You do know that he's actually taking on the pharmaceuticals right now on your behalf. He's reducing the cost of your medical pharmaceuticals. As a start, poor man's only been in for 3.5 years. He only gets 8 years to do something, and he's done some hefty weightlifting on what he's changed. He's informed that hospitals have to give you a price. There has to be a price list per hospital. That's amazing, because you can go into hospital and not know what the end result's going to be. So, you know, he's getting there. He's fighting. He's not fighting just the system. He's fighting the big pharma. He's fighting the big oil barons. He's fighting the Democrats. He's fighting the media. He's fighting the lefties. He's fighting just about everyone except for people that vote for him. So, you know, whereas most presidents, you know, you turn around and say, like with Obama, right, Obama got in, right, we're going to have to suffer it through and just see if we can vote him out next time. They're not doing that. They're actively working against him and against the actual benefit of the USA. You got charged 125,000 for 6 hours in an ER. Absolutely, and it's absolutely crazy what you have to do. But that 125,000 was probably going to be a lot more under Obama. I mean, look how many people he actually gave $6,000 penalties to for not paying their Medicare or whatever it was, Obamacare. People that couldn't afford it got huge penalties. I mean, come on. It's the first thing Trump did when he came in. He forgave people all those penalties. I mean, we're really lucky here because we have a healthcare system that's not perfect. It's not as good as yours lot, but basically, you know, they do at it. They do the best that they can with what they've got, but it's free to the British. So, hi, Devon, Steve. It's yeah. I find it. Nobody actually gives him an ounce of credit for what he does. He brokered a deal for peace. He's gone around the whole world and basically banged people's heads together and said, come on, get your ass in gear. No more wars. He went to North and South Korea and went, there you go, shake hands, be good boys. This guy has achieved more than any other president before him on that. It does just find it bizarre that nobody actually, everybody that hates him blames him. I mean, he's being blamed for this coronavirus now. Yeah, but Bill, he had to take it back to basics. He literally, there were so many fingers in the Obamacare pie, right? It was all done for a transfer of wealth from the patients to the people that run the Obamacare system, right? You've got to understand there's a triangle. So you've got the patients that pay the insurance companies, and the insurance companies pay the pharmaceuticals. So basically, you know, it's a never-ending circle, triangle, right? To take more money from people to pay for in the bottom line, in the pockets of all these rich bloody bureaucrats at the top of both sectors. Hey Tracy, how you doing? Hope you had a good day. It's been fairly windy down here, so I take it you've got the wind up there as well. And he's taking all the shit for nothing. He gets paid $1. He gets paid $1, and he's losing money by not doing his business. Love it. Have an AC in there. Yeah, that's one that goes out the window. Because it's a conservatory, so there's no blinds against the sun, and it bakes in here. It absolutely bakes. That's why I do a 7:30, not earlier. It's one of those things that if I did earlier, it would be so hot in here. We'd have to have the windows up, all the windows and doors open. So yeah, not practical, especially with the bird. XRP Chance says, I've just tweeted out the live stream and linked in a good few others. Oh, thanks, honey. Bill Gould says, the taxpayers are spending tens of millions to Mar-a-Lago, which he owns in security costs. Tens of millions to Mar-a-Lago. Hold on. So wherever he goes, he's got to have security. So why bitch about him going somewhere that he owns that you don't have to pay for, where he's got to have security anyway? So it's I find it really bizarre how people can just, they're saying, oh, he's got to pay for his security guards, and he's going golfing. Obama went golfing, right? But he had to pay for his golfing. Trump owns the golf course. He doesn't pay fuck all. So in actual fact, he's saving money, right? Every other president in the world gets to golf, but you know, Trump, bloody hell. The fact that he's in his 70s and he's still live and be able to move around a lot. There she comes. Oh no. No, okay. Yeah, he's live and he's able to move around and he's healthy. So, you know, if golfing does that for him, good on him. You know, he's not he doesn't put his life completely on hold just because he's the president. I mean, the fact that he works most of the time, not all the time, because he does go golfing, he eats and he sleeps a little. But yeah, you know, I find it really hard when people critique him like that. It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. XRP, oh no, Angie. Hello, Anne. Right, when moon? Yeah, I don't know. We're in a bull run. I mean, it's starting to go up anyway, bit by bit. So happy days that, you know, most days we're on an upward trend. We have the odd few days where it goes down. My portfolio goes down within 5%. Some days, but you know, the upward trend. I've got new higher highs in my portfolio, which I'm really happy about, and new higher lows as well. So it's all good. Richard Chamberlain says, surely all healthcare should be free. Is that not a basic human right? As Crypto Boo Boo has said, we are not perfect. I think ultimately, what will happen is you will have an almost free healthcare system over in America. Fingers crossed. Not sure. It would make sense with all the changes that are coming in that people wouldn't have to have the insurance unless they wanted to. We have private insurance over here. In my job, I got, oh yeah, actually I've lost that now. PMI, private medical insurance, which means that I can actually just go private if anything went wrong, which is a real shame, because, you know, under the National Health Service, as good as it is, it's not fast, and it's very limited on what it can offer, you know, and it depends how much money's in the coffers. Now, luckily, Boris Johnson actually forgave the NHS all of the debt at the beginning of this scamdemic. So basically, they should be able to throw a lot more money at it than they actually were. And this quiet period, because it is actually a quiet period, the hospitals are not stretched to overloading. You know, they're not You've got nurses doing TikTok videos, you know, and being able to design dance and singing and all that sort of stuff to keep up people's motivation and keep people happy. Well, the fact that they've got time to do that means that they're not actually that busy if they can dance around the wards and things like that, and put together some pretty awesome, and they are pretty awesome, dance moves to music, which they then show out to everybody and say, hey, look at us. But the fact that they can do it means that they are not stretched to limits. So, you know, you've got to watch what actually goes on against what we're told by the media, because what we're told by the media is bollocks. Bill says healthcare should be free. Yeah, I think it should, but you get what you pay for, and if you don't pay for it, you get what you're given. Just remember that next time that somebody is pushing for, like my sister did, she knew something was wrong and was pushing for somebody to take her seriously. And because my dad had died of cancer, they basically turned and said, no, you're just making it up because you're in grief. It actually worked out she did have cancer. So, you know, and that took years, and I mean years, to get them to do that. Luckily, she didn't have that type of cancer that kills you quickly. Otherwise, she would have been dead. Devon Steve says, the UK seems to think the healthcare is free in the UK, ergo smacks of communism to them. What they don't realise is we pay national insurance for it, like insurance, but it covers everything. Yeah, good point, Devon Steve. You know, it's hard to explain that to other people. I mean, basically, we pay, is it 11.9% or 12 point something percent national insurance? So as well as income tax, this is for the Americans, as well as income tax at 20% or 40%, depending on sort of how much you earn, you also have what's called a national insurance, which is an additional tax over the top of the 20% or 40% you pay. And that's I think it's 11.9 or 12 point something percent on top. Which is why I liked UKIP, because what we wanted was a flat tax of 33% for everyone. And that meant everyone. So even the people that pay the higher tax and the highest tax that hide their money, there wouldn't be anywhere to hide your money. So you would pay 33% on all of it. That's what they wanted to be able to do. But good idea, obviously. Money talks. Never going to happen in a million years. Doesn't matter who comes into power. And I don't care if you're Labour or Conservative. But anyway, so what they do is they take that out, and that pays for things like the governmental infrastructure. And then what you've got, as well as that, you've got what's called council tax, which is like your housing tax type thing, but not as much. It's based on the value of the house, and you've got different bands that you have to pay. So for like my 3-bedroom house, I would pay, I think it's about £1,600 a year. So, and that has to be paid to the local council, and that pays for your refuse collection, local roads, things that need to be done, the local infrastructure. And so, I mean, we pay tax on everything. I mean, there's no getting away from it. We pay tax on literally everything. And Bill says he'd gladly pay more in taxes for free healthcare for all. Yeah, the trouble is, as Steve is saying, it keeps getting voted down. Then you end up selling your home to pay for it, and the money goes bloody quick. I know we do, but it lasts a bit longer. Yep, absolutely. Richard Chamberlain says, Devon, it's true we pay in tax. It's true we pay in taxes. Is that not a bad thing? As with the US, and correct me if I'm wrong, they have to pay their medical insurance separately. Yeah, absolutely. They don't get the free healthcare that we get. I mean, we can actually tier one above it and actually go and get better private medical insurance, but they have to get it to start with. I mean, I'm a great believer in having private medical insurance. If I'm one of those people that if I've got a bad back, I'll tell you, I'll give an example. I had a car accident some years ago, and I was on my back, flat on my back for 2 weeks. I could not move because I had such bad whiplash that what it did was I got shunted sideways across the road where someone hit the side of the car. and shunted me into the pavement. So it's equivalent of hitting a brick wall, but sideways, and it knocked my back out. And I went to the doctors, and the doctor said, well, you know, can't really do anything about it. It's a car accident. If you're still in pain in 6 months, we'll refer you to a chiropractor. And I'm like, really? Okay. So I went down, and I tried them all. I tried a chiropractor, a chiropractic practitioner. I went to a physiotherapist, you know, all of the different, I even went to like a medical masseuse, and I found which one actually worked for me. And it took me 2 years of going and paying for myself. And I'm a great believer. If you've got something wrong, don't sit and wait for the system to do it for you. Get off your arse and get out there and do something about it, because your back, if you wait 6 months for the doctors to refer you so that you can have a NHS recommendation, basically what that means is that in that 6 months, the amount of damage to your back is compounded. If you can deal with it there and then you're going to save yourself an awful lot of time and pain in the meantime. But the problem with the British people is they're so brainwashed that they can't do anything. I mean, I'm into homeopathic remedies and things like that. I mean, if I've got something wrong with me, I go off and I research, you know, how do I help my asthma? Well, yeah, I could, garlic is a good thing. All these different things. I've taken off all my jewelry, right? But usually I wear a heart here, and that helps with my asthma because it's a magnet. So I research all these little things that help me to help myself. But there's some people, when they'll come up and they say, oh, what's that then, when I'm doing a show? And I say, oh, it's a magnetic bracelet. Well, what does that do? Helps with the pH level of the body. But also, if you've got any sort of pain, if you take the one with copper in it, then, you know, the body uses copper as a pain relief. So if you're wearing it, then you're constantly topping up your pain relief. It's like wearing a paracetamol. And they look at me like I'm mad and go, well, that's what the doctors are for. They give me codeine or whatever it is. And I'm like, well, yeah, if you've got really bad pain, then obviously you're going to need it. But if you wear one of these, there's a chance, it's not guaranteed, there's a chance that it might help to reduce some of that pain level, so you don't have to take as many. Does that make sense? Yeah. Will they listen? No. I actually get the from the first 2 questions that I get from most people, I know whether they're going to be anti or not. And as an awful lot of people, you'd be surprised, are very much, well, you know, I have to speak to my doctor. I've got to check with my doctor first. And it's like, really? You can't actually think for yourself? Did you know you can get a magnet on the NHS? No, most doctors don't either, but you can. But guess what? There's no financial incentives for them to give them out. Funny that, huh? Berthold Jepping is in the house. So the UK has a system like the old health system we had in the Netherlands. Probably. I don't know what you had. So we have a paid one, and it gets more and more expensive, and health insurance companies do not pay for everything. Yeah. We have the same sort of thing. You buy a level of cover, but if you have things like pre-existing conditions, oh, that's another thing, Billy. The new healthcare system will cover pre-existing conditions. There you go. That's one thing that Trump did for you. So basic medical in the Netherlands is about 150 euros a month. That sounds about right. Yeah. I think it's just under 100, about £80. I think if I was to pay my private medical insurance personally, I think it goes up to about that. Devon Steve, no, I reckon we have it about right. Not perfect, but I'd suggest a fair bit of waste. But Bill says, no, I've missed a bit. We're paying taxes. Yeah, that's to do with the taxes. Bill says, true, but there's a solution out there. We waste a lot of money on other crap which could pay for free healthcare. For example, military budget. It's crazy out of hand. But that's what Nasara Jassara is going to bring in for you. If there's no more, if there's no more wars, you don't need a military budget as big as what you've got. You don't need NATO. You don't need a massive army or a massive navy or a massive air force. Obviously, you still need to be able to defend your country, because there will be at some point nefarious despots that are going to sit there and go, actually, let me take over that country, right? You need to be able to protect your country. But because you're not going to be going out defending the world, which you do in the US, or, you know, as we do with the NATO, the UK, we get used for lots of stuff overseas. You can bring it home. You can actually, here's a thought, you can bring home the soldiers and get them to help the police on the streets. How good would that be? So you can actually have a presence, not with assault rifles and weapons and things like that, but you can have a presence which will protect the people, right? We need more border security. You have no idea how easy it is in the UK to get through. We've got a tunnel that should be locked up and thrown away the key, so because we've got people coming through illegally through the tunnel. We've also got a whole coastal area in between us and France where people get on dinghies to get across to here. And unfortunately, as soon as they hit British soil, or if they hit a British boat, which I don't agree with, then they can claim asylum. And then what we're doing at the moment is putting them up in 4 or 5 star hotels, which I think is fucking ridiculous. You got someone like me, I'm homeless, right? I don't have my house. The government has actually prevented me from getting hold of my property because I can't evict the tenant that's in there, and they won't move the tenant out and give her somewhere to live because she refuses to go and get her own personal place. She expects the council to give it to her, and they won't touch her unless I give them the eviction order. And then they shut the evictions down because they closed the courts. So they're doing that for them. And when I went down and went, right, okay, so you're not allowing her to leave my house, where are you going to put me then? They said, no, sorry, you've got to pay for yourself. But why? Why would I need to pay for myself? I've got a perfectly good house there. I'm still paying the mortgage. And they're like, no, we can't help you, right? And yet we've got people coming in from abroad, right, getting put up in 4 and 5 star hotels. The world's gone nuts. And that's got to be a government thing that they're doing it for. So, rant over. Let me catch up with this. Let me put my glasses on so I don't read it wrong as well. Right, so Tony Favell said, and don't forget also we pay for drugs unless you're exempt. Yeah, we pay per prescription. We don't pay for the actual drugs. And that's the difference. We pay, is it £8.50, is it? Or something like that for a prescription. So we pay per item on the prescription. So if, like, I've got 2 inhalers, so I have to pay 2 times £8.50 for what's on the prescription, unless I have a prepayment certificate, and then I can have as many prescriptions within that 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is period of time, as much as I want. But yeah, so if I've got 2 Ventolin and one steroid, then that's still classed as 2 items. But the doctors don't give out. I used to get 4 at a time of both, and they don't give them out like that anymore. They actually limit what you can do, so you end up paying a lot more anyway. Income tax in the Netherlands is 36%. Yeah, with us, we're probably coming in around 33 and just under 34% between income tax and national insurance. Dodge Tosi Bakamoto is in the house. Woof. Justin, hi. Richard Chamberlain says, Devon Steve, it's a hard one. We all have views on how it should be ran. Personally, I would rather pay in taxes each month and not have to worry if I would be treated rather than the US option. And I think most people would. Have we got any mods in the house? I think there's people coming in that shouldn't be. Go and take them out while I'm reading through. Richard Chamberlain says, yeah, sorry, you're not covered here. Yeah. Commercial healthcare does not cover your medication under your insurance. Sorry, we do not cover your medication under your insurance. Yeah. I mean, under our private medical insurance, that doesn't cover the medication that you are prescribed. It covers the medication you get given in hospital. Angie says, my brother-in-law has to do his physio over the phone because all hospital appointments are cancelled. I know. I've got an appointment with the doctors with a referral to the hospital for something, and I have to download an app and then register for it. They've sent me a number, and then they're going to phone me sometime within the 2 weeks to discuss it through the app, right? Don't ask me. It must be something that's recorded and goes onto your records or whatever it is. But yeah, the way that we have to work now. Tony Favell says, I tried the magnetic jewelry off of Boo Boo. Your arthritis is one hell of a lot better. There you go. He's wearing my jewelry. XRP, Tiny Papa Boater Hook XRP. COVID-19 will make your blood thicker. Probably. Probably not, actually. It's just a virus. The Devon Steve says, Richard Chamberlain, yes, you're right. We do pay for it. It is a tax, but called national insurance. If you are employed, you pay for it. The more you earn, the higher national insurance contribution. It also covers for things like our state pension when we get to retirement. That piddly little amount that we're expecting to get, 20 years from now, that will probably disappear before we even get there. If you pay what we pay into our national insurance, I think it's 2% of what you pay in national insurance actually goes towards your pension. If you compounded that over the years and then used that to pay your income in retirement, you'd end up with a lot more than what they pay out now. Norfolk Dashcam, hello, you're right, welcome in. Oh, thanks, Anne. Do a thumbs up if you fancy. 15 people in the chat, got 7 thumbs up anyway, which is quite nice. Bill says, wars are a necessary evil, otherwise it will be like the Wild West. Countries will invade other countries with no fear. A strong military is necessary. What country wants to take on the US? None. Absolutely. But what I'm saying is you don't need the budget that you currently have, because you're not going to be policing the rest of the world, right? Because at the moment, if you look at like the UK, for example, you look at the amount of military we've got. If we only have to protect our own country, we don't need the amount of people that we've got, because we're not going to be stretched by being constantly sent over to Iraq or Afghanistan or something like that to get involved in wars that should never have been started in the first place, which are just money-making machines for the elite to actually reap the benefits of. And yes, you do have a great, well-trained military in the USA, because it is awesome. It's absolutely awesome. But all I'm saying is you don't need the amount of budget to protect your own country than if you had to protect the whole world, which is what you currently do. Devon Steve says, you got the largest, hate to burst your bubble, we got the best. I was being nice. Casual crypto guys in the house, hello, evening all. Heidi, hi, happy campers. Thanks, Anne, really appreciate that. So Bill says, if that were true, we would be speaking English, but I like your pride in your country. Tip my hat to you, sir. Angie says, boo, reckon you're famous now, you getting trolls. Oh, it's because I put on that I'm going live, and there's a few people that don't like me on Twitter, so I reckon they just set something up quickly and then just come in to troll it. It's ridiculous. It's very childish. It's very childish. They're not real people. It's somebody pretending to be somebody else. Crypto Justin says, you'll never end up collecting that state pension age. You'll never end up collecting that pension. State pension age will just keep getting higher as you approach it. They want you to die before collecting it. Do you know, right? One of the reasons why they said that it had to go up in the age that you got state retirement had to be increased was that you should not be allowed to have more than 1/3 of your working life paid for in retirement. So I sat there and I worked out when all of this was going through. Now I started work at 16, right? So by the time I get to 67, which is, I mean, when I started working, the retirement age for women was 60. So go for that first. So basically, I started work at 16. 16 to 60 is 44 years, right? So, so basically, if you work on the national average, you're expected to die as what, 77 for females, 78, I think, something around there. So 60 to 78 is 18 years. So 1/3 of 44 years, sorry, is 11, yeah, plus a bit. And then basically, yeah, so what they're saying is that we would need to only have an expectation, so they need to increase it. So what they did was they increased it from 60 to 67 for me and pushed me past. So actually, I don't get a third of my expected lifespan in retirement now that they've put it up so high. And the kids coming up now are probably looking at, if there is one at all, 70 as a state retirement age. Come on. It's just wrong. It's just, but I'm retired. I'm 51. I'm retired. I'm happy. Mama Lacey says, sad. He says the world uses the US military as a world police of sorts. It would be nice if we were reimbursed for your efforts. That's what NATO is supposed to do. That's 2% of their GDP is supposed to be paid to NATO to help fund that. Devon Steve says, Billy, when I joined up, we didn't have ID cards. We all knew each other. You're showing your age, mate. You're showing your age. The US prison system should be considered a crime of humanity. It's embarrassing. Crime against humanity. And do you know what? I absolutely, there's two schools of thought that I've got. Scott from Love for Crypto, he's got an excellent idea. He turned around and said that anybody that is done for aggressive, anything to do with violence, aggression, the rape, the paedophile, the murders, threatening, wife beaters, all that sort of stuff, husband beaters as well. They should have to take DMT, because when you do a DMT trip, you meet yourself, right? So yourself is reflected back at you. And Mike Tyson did that. And basically, he turned around and said it completely changed him. He's lost all his anger because now he sees the person that he was and now knows what he wants to be. So, but my school of thought, and I bloody love it, was the guy in Texas where they're not in a prison. They're out, they have to do hard manual labor. They get dressed in pink, right? So they get the pink t-shirts, pink trousers, boxers, all that sort of stuff. And as part of their human rights, they should be allowed to have at least 1 hour's worth of TV a day, so they get to watch cartoons. I think that's fucking awesome. I think that's the best, because their re-offending rate is so low that it actually works. So everyone should have to do that. It would be really difficult to do in this country because you couldn't really be outside doing hard labor. Yeah, no, for most of it. But do you know what? I just think that something along those lines, where instead of, and I know you have your freedoms taken away from you when you go to prison, but you get 3 meals a day. You have to do fuck all for it. And to be perfectly honest, it's depending on the prison that you go to, obviously. It's either a walk in the park or it can be pretty nasty. So if we had more prison officers, what can we do with those soldiers that are coming home? If we had more prison officers and there was more of a one-to-one, and then you've got things like, if you've got people who haven't got confidence, then you can actually build them up. If you've got the equivalent of a squaddy standing in front of you, taking no shit at all, and telling you what to do and how to do it, but also at the same time, you've got a support system there that teaches you how to deal with life, right? We're going to have an awful lot of people who won't be able to work. So as more artificial intelligence stuff comes through, how good will that be if then, as part of a program to give back to society, part of that is that you would go and coach, and you can go and coach these people on a one-to-one basis and help them to get over and life skills and things like that. I'm not talking about the heavy duty. There's certain people that just should be killed straight off. Anyone touches a kid, I think should hang for it. Or, you know, if you're feeling really nice, give them an injection, lethal injection. But, you know, I'm not talking about those people. You can't really. But basically, you know, so there's so much that we can do, right? So you don't have to put up with the prison system. This is some of the stuff that I want to be talking about tomorrow, because I think it would be amazing, absolutely amazing, if we can start to have a dialogue here and elsewhere about how we want the world to go. If it's going to go Nasara Jasara, right? How we will deal with that as a world, but also post lockdown, how are we going to go back to the norm? Do we want to go back to the norm? Do we want to change stuff? You know, there's got to be a movement where people turn around and say, do you know what? Actually, this is what I want to change. This is what I want changed. And then get the movement out there. So, you know, the politicians have to listen to us. If we all get together, politicians will listen. Bill says, one day you and I will meet in person. First round and cigar is on me. To Devon, Steve. I spent 6 weeks in Fort Bragg with the US Airborne. Good bunch of lads. Casual crypto guy. Thank you for your service. Anne says, Bill, mine's a gin. Annie, no cigar. Bill, don't smoke. Annie, I tried cigars about 2 weeks ago for a celebratory thing after Moon. And did it make you sick, or are you now a convert and you like cigars now? Annie, I will come into Ireland. I'll put you down for a visit. Absolutely. Yes, she says. Bill says, Annie, you've got to come here for a visit. If I come there, I've got to take you for a ride on my Harley. Francesco Gonzalez is in the house. How are you doing, honey? Bill says, I was stationed at Fort Bragg. Thank you for your service as well. How's that beautiful daughter of yours? So yeah, so basically, I was speaking to, I think it was Mama Lacey, left me a message, and they've been taking off some of the videos for Charlie Ward for the Americas. I had a look. I can't see that anything had been taken off that I watched. I couldn't see anything glaringly absent on the stuff that I was watching. So what I've said is that I'll keep her appraised of the stuff that's going on. He's still maintaining about the Nasara Jasara, and that the system's in place and it's going live on the 1st of September. However, I've been speaking to a friend of mine who works very high up in a bank, and he's on 2 weeks holiday, and basically he turned around and said, if there was a massive change going to be put in place by the 1st of September, then he wouldn't be on holiday because he's that high up. So it's a case of, and he literally is very much, if there was any changes like that going into place, then he would be in on it. So hold your horses about getting excited about that. I do believe that there will be some form of change coming, because that's what is needed, and that's what we're going to do, and that's what we're going to make happen. You're welcome, Mama Lazy. And I'll bet she looks gorgeous, Billy. You can send me a picture. Just send me a picture. You've got my number, haven't you? Yeah, I think you have, or Twitter. But yeah, it was a little bit disappointing to hear that, but you know, it's better to know. Yes, it is, Tony. And basically, it's better to know, and to sort of to be able to maintain expectations accordingly. But I am a great believer. I do believe that that sort of thing will happen, and I do believe that the universe. I do believe that the NESARA GESARA is a thing, because Charlie's saying that he's involved in it, and if he's not listening to people about it, he's actually involved in it. So I do think that that is something that we can put on the burner that could happen. But yeah, can't see that happening anytime soon. We are going to need to have a complete change of everything, you know, the government, the banks, money, right? This financial restructure. For something like that, would he be able to give any ideas? It's going to happen. It's not the typical run of the mill. Basically, what we're waiting for is SWIFT to give up the ghost, and it's not giving up the ghost yet. It's a well-established system. It's been in for a very, very long time, and they're making all the right noises about the changes that they're doing to bring it into line with the ISO 2222, the faster payment system that has to be in. But they've bought themselves some time. They've got like upgrades to the system, from what I understand, coming in. That came out about 6 months ago, I think. So it's like the death throes of the old financial system. So I could be wrong. But I don't think so. So I do believe that we have to have a new financial system. There is no two ways about it, and they're talking about it all over the place. So it's not that it's not going to happen. It's just not going to. Don't think it's going to happen in the way that we think. But who knows, right? All I know is the sun's going to come up tomorrow morning, and hopefully I will wake up, and you know, and that's a good day. That's a really good day. But yeah, I mean, the banking system, it needs to be a coordinated effort with people at the top. So if somebody at the top is saying it's not happening in my bank, then it's not happening because of the bank he's with. So so I can quite honestly turn around and say that I am fully expecting that there to be something, but not that. Thanks, Bill. Oh my God, she's gorgeous. Thank you for that. So yeah, where were we? Bill Gould. How long was that? Went back to 93, 94, nil. Okay. Crypto Justin, for something like that. Nope. I've read that one. It's not typical run of the mill. For something like that, would he be able to give any ideas? It's going to happen. SWIFT will go down kicking and screaming. They don't want to lose their monopoly. Yeah, I mean, basically, SWIFT at the moment, they're upgrading the system, but they're not doing it. They're working with R3 and Corda. So, and also Accenture, from what I understand, possibly. I don't take a lot of notice of all the companies and things like that. So forgive me if I tell it wrong. But anyway, they've been working with R3 Corda to upgrade their system, but their system does not move money within seconds from A to B. There still has to be a receiving end to it. But there's also obviously a way that the money makers and the multi-hops and everything like that, they have like a system where they do a credit for a certain amount of time, and if they're not paid off in that certain amount of time, then they have to pay a fee. So there's not necessarily got to have the Nostro Vostro receiving and dealing accounts on an automatic basis. So, you know, it's not broke at the moment, so it's not going to be mended, basically, is the gist that I get. When it breaks, absolutely, 100%. Richard says, my point is that it's a major security breach, not that it's going to happen. give you any ideas. It's going to major security breach for I've lost the thread of what that was to do with. Sorry, honey. Put something up. Crypto Justin says, I see Swift using XRP for upgrade to its messaging system in the future so they can settle payments. The problem is you've got Swift and Ripple have been going head to head. So Swift, to give up their monopoly, they're actually an almost free system. So money isn't going to make a difference. And should the new system come in, an awful lot of very high paid individuals who travel all over the world will lose their jobs. So there has to be a form of, falling on their sword happening in order to for that to be coming in. Oh, the breach was to do with your friend. He would not be able to tell you like an NDA. No. What he did was he caught wind of some of the things that I was saying, where I was talking about Charlie Ward, and he just said to me, he's got it wrong. It's not something that he knows about, and he would know, basically. And he doesn't want it taken away from the message that's coming out about like the kids and the pedos and everything like that. And the trouble is with crypto Twitter, what's going to happen. If it doesn't happen on the 31st of August and the 1st of September, they're going to tear him apart, call him all sorts of names, and rip the shit out of him. And that's not good, because the guy's passing over the information that he's being given. So there's an element of trust that he's doing to get past that information over. But also at the same time, he's got other information that he is absolutely 100% shit hot on, that is going to lose its viability by people that do that. So basically, yeah, that's what worries me. That does worry me, because he's an amazing man, and if it is wrong, it's not his fault that it's wrong, right? You're talking about that and that. Stationed in Germany, loved it. Definitely going back. Going to Amsterdam. I was in Amsterdam earlier on this year. In fact, there's a couple of videos of me at the airport talking about how the beer flu was a complete con. But there you go. What are you going to be smoking in Amsterdam, Bill? Or if you're practicing on cigars. Devon Steve. I emailed Flair today asking for which hot cold wallets would be Snapshot. Where will Spark be stored? Anne says, Charlie did say timelines change. Yeah, absolutely. They do, and they can. But I mean, even Digital Asset Investor was talking about it, as was Crypto Eddie. So, there's quite a few of the crypto people have picked it up. And obviously we had that that interview with Sir Gordon Gekko. But yeah, it worries me. I don't want to lose the impetus of everything else that's going on if this one little thing doesn't actually snap in the way that it's supposed to do. Right? We don't even know. Like you said, it could happen behind the scenes, and then not actually, people wouldn't know it. But it could be that it's going live in America before it goes live in the rest of the world. We don't know, and I just don't want people to get all frothy at the mouth if it doesn't happen in exactly the timescale that he has said, because people are expecting to hold him to it, and even we're we're normal people. We know how it works, right? So we are forgiving if people get it wrong, but there are some really rabid people on Twitter that don't. Be careful, Billy. It's good shit over in Amsterdam. Darcy, I'm in California. I'm sure I'll be able to handle whatever is thrown at me. Heard they do some lovely cakes in Amsterdam. Just saying. That would be me. I can't smoke. It kind of reminds me about 589. Yeah, but 589 wasn't actually to do with the price, was it? When it all comes down to it, it was us putting our take on what we were looking at and expecting it to be a price, a future price prediction. What is supposed to happen on the 1st? I've been out the loop the last couple of months. Nothing. Francisco. There's talk that the new quantum financial system will be in place and the SWIFT system will be switched off. And the person that's saying it is very believable and really nice guy. Comes across very, very honest. But what he's been told through he's got sources that he's coming out and he's talking about what's going on behind the scenes in America from people in America. And just noticed again, 17 people in the stream. I bloody love that. I notice 17 all the time. But basically, yeah. So he's being fed the information, he's giving out the information, and it's not necessarily actually going to happen what he said about the quantum financial system. How do we know SWIFT is not switched off? Because it's still being used, and the person that I talk to uses it regularly to move a lot of money. And it's him that's in charge of that in the bank. Really high level. So yeah, it would be very nice. I mean, basically, it's no different to what we've expected. So we all expected XRP to be maybe one of the SDRs. Oh, somebody having an argument out on the street. So we expected, XRP hopefully, becomes part of the world currency, new world currency, replaces the dollar. We've had the theory that it becomes one of the 5 in the SDRs under the IMF. We've heard, or we've talked about, a gold-backed XRP. So it's all there. It's all there. It's just one of those things that it would be absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, it would be phenomenal because a gold-backed XRP would actually be quite a nice increase in price, which we've all been waiting for too. But yeah, I don't want people to get disheartened if it doesn't happen. That's all. How do we know it's not switched off? Because we have not been told on crypto Twitter. Don't know. No. It's because the system is being used by the banks. So the people using the system in the banks would know if the system was there or not. That's basically what I'm saying. So yeah, that's so that was the bad news that I had for today. But the good news is we're still here. And life is good, and we're just one step closer. We all know what's going on. I know you're playing with me, Richard. I've got it down here. It's and what's happening with the markets at the moment is absolutely fantastic, because I'm just My portfolio, my main portfolio, is up by 34% since I started to buy it, but it's down 1.88% with today's movement. So yeah, and that's all the main ones. That's all of the main. Are the casinos open yet? My CSC ain't doing a lot. There won't be a lot of happening on CSC. CSC, when I was told about it last April, I was told was a 2-year hold. So be prepared to hold for 2 years before you get some price action on the CSC side of things. And then, you know, the person that told me about it said they're aiming for $10 within 2 years. So that's quite a hefty jump from where it is at the moment. But hey, if King can come back 80%, then anything can come back. Trust me. My vet is, I sold my vet when it was about 150% up, and then waiting for it to go back down again and bought in again. So I'm sitting on a minus at the moment, just waiting for it to start to move. Which I've heard that you know, there's a few of them that are tipped for the top, shall we say? Few of them that I've been told. Coty, here we go again. Don't ever get old. Coty, COTI, is one to keep an eye out for. Wabi, WABI, and that's Tail. It's called TAEL. That seems to be doing things. Band Protocols going back up again, so that had a bit of a hiccup and seems to be coming back. Tezos has had some good moves today. One that I'm keeping an eye on is Hypercash HC. Obviously Waves is one that and Nano was today's one. I'm up 10% on Nano today. So that would be really quite good. And if I just check my futures, DOT, Polkadot, that seems to be doing quite nicely at the moment. So that's having a bit of a I didn't get in when I should have got in. I should have got in yesterday. I didn't do it until today. So yeah, I've missed out on the huge growth that they had this morning. I think it went up by 70% this morning. But yeah, I'm waiting for Tezos to go up quite a bit because I bought in quite high and it's gone down. But that's coming back. So yeah, so it's just, I just dabble a little bit, 50 quid here, 100 quid there, you know, just to see if I can increase. I've got my long-term holders, you know, the XRP and the VET and everything like that, that I'm hoping, fingers crossed. I mean, VET, they said that that VET could be like $5 to $10 fairly soon. I mean, it's gone up to what, 2p, 2 cents even. Hold on, I'll get back up because that had a little bit of a flurry. Yeah, it's 117 at the moment, but yeah, that went up to 2.2. So, but they're saying VET $5, $10. We're talking about bull run territory. I mean, when something goes up by the amount that they went up the last bull run, then it's not really a far fetch. And the thing is, CSC 2 years from last April is actually bull run territory again. So, but what you got to do is you got to make peace with your exit strategy. $10 in 2 years, I've got a good party going on. Is that VET or CSC? Damn, $10 CSC, I'm good with that. $1 CSC would be great, but I haven't heard much good news lately on it. CSC is a long-term plan. They've went to a meet with Chisme Chris, up in one of the, I think it was one of the London casinos, and that was really good. Great lads, great lads. I say lads because everyone's younger than me. But the problem I see with CSC is they don't give info on where they are at. It's like surprise. Yeah, they've got is it a Reddit account or something? And they there's a lot of information that goes in there. Discord, sorry, yeah, Discord. Thanks, Justin. Yeah, the Discord is really quite good and quite illuminating. Unfortunately, I'm called XRP Boo Boo, so I had to overcome their initial like reaction to me when I first went in there. Early days on CSC, they're like Ripple when they were in the sub-cents. That's exactly it. Hi, Calculum. They are more open than Ripple are. Have you gone on the Discord? Yeah, I really would go onto Discord and have a look. Justin, Bill says, I spent like $150 a while back and got 1 million CSC. Now it's just got to move up in price. I spent $300 on Kin and got a few million. And basically, if it goes up to a penny, happy days. Happy days. You know, they'll pay a few bills. Casual Crypto Guy says, I'd be happy at CSC at 50 cents. 50p? 50p. CSC is just like a casino. Keep feeding that slot until it hits big. Cash out early and someone else will win your jackpot. So true, Calculum. That's why I've got my hold and then I've got my play. So I've got my hold on all the stuff that's on wallets and nanos and stuff like that. And then I've got my play. And that, you know, that's literally bits that I like to just to keep my hand in and just feel like I'm doing something rather than just holding all the time. And some I win and some I lose, and basically all the spot buys that you do, you never have to lose if you do a spot buy because it always goes back up eventually. You just might miss out on something else that you could have jumped into to go up in the meantime. But I don't do trading analysis or anything like that. I just pay somebody to give me, and I'm in a few of the free chats, and they're really good. Some of the free chats on Telegram, and they give some good calls actually, and it just puts you, it just tells you what the latest buzz is, you know, because there's always someone watching something, so they're in the know on that particular coin, so they can come on and say, oh, by the way, we've got I don't know, hard fork coming up for this, that and the other, and stuff like that, which is something that I would never find out about because I don't run in those circles. So so yeah, it's all good. It's all good in the hood. So it's 20 to 9. I've still got 17 people in the chat. Thank you. Got 11 thumbs up. And I think that's enough, isn't it? Shall we call it tonight? Hour and 8 minutes. We'll do a short one tonight, shall we? MPXS is another long shot for me. Bought 3 million cheap. Its all-time high is 3p, so that will be really nice. Yeah, Pundy. Oh, Tina. And there was me just about to wind it down, hun. I've been on for about an hour and 9 minutes. But how you doing, honey? We need to have a Zoom call or a WhatsApp call or something. I will message you on Twitter. And yeah, need to do a proper catch up with you. What were the topics? Christ. We were talking about the quantum financial reset. Zoom. Yes. Yeah, we do Zoom. We're talking about Trump and what he's doing for the country. We talked about English politics a bit. We touched on the basis that we need to decide as a world how we go back to the new normal. Been following me for but YouTube makes me search for your live stream. Does it not give you? Do you not get any notifications? Ah, you can always go back and listen to it if you're going to do the washing up or something. Put it on double speak, so it goes through fast. So my voice goes higher, and it, you know, the hour that's gone through will be done in half an hour. You can always do that one. Tomorrow I'm coming on at 7:30 again. But what I want to do is I'm gonna ask all of you, if you want to send me a message on Twitter, more than happy to do it. But what I want to do is I want to start a dialogue between us in the chat. You know how I bring you in, and talk about how we've been affected by the lockdown, right? And what not necessarily the bad stuff, but if you want to, you can, and we'll talk it out. But the good stuff that's happened during the lockdown, and you know, the way that things have changed in a good way, that you think that maybe we can bring over to the new normal when we come away from this. So when the beer flu is over and we're going back to normality, what changes do we think would be a really good idea? A really good idea to carry on into the new normal when everything goes back after this is done with, which will probably be on the 4th of November. But basically, yeah, that I'd love to have just a chat with all of you about that. You get to work from home, no more commuting to the office, and this hopefully continues. Absolutely. Right. So to have that sort of chat and have a stream that's actually dedicated to that. So I'm going to see if I can work out how to bring people in, maybe to add a Zoom chat. I don't know. I need to speak to Scott. But yeah, and just be able to, even if it's talking through the phone while we're live, just to have something where people can do some feedback, because I think it would be really good to talk that one through and talk that one out. No, ma'am, no notifications. Sorry, Calculon. I don't. Have you got it down as capital C crypto with a space and then Boo Boo with a capital B? Maybe that. Don't know. I don't know. Although I'm probably shadow banned by YouTube because I say the words beer flu, and I've actually turned around and said about the scamdemic and plandemic, and the fact that, you know, the UK government's known all about the fact that it's not a highly contagious disease since the 19th of March, would you believe? But they locked us down anyway. And then on the 24th of June decided that they were going to add masks to the madness. So was that photo you put up on Twitter with Lee at Manchester? No, that was the Northampton meet, the very first meet that I did, because I do UK meetups. So I pick an area. The next one's going to be Birmingham again, on the 12th of September, and basically, yeah. So I went to Northampton and we had a room of us to ourselves, and we had Lee from SPQR and loads of different people, Tony and Darren and loads of different people come through. There was, I think it was about 9 of us. Not bad for a first meet. And then it was such a beautiful day. We went out and we just took some pictures out on the veranda outside the room. And yeah, great day had by all. The one in Birmingham, I had 12 people, I think, turn up. That was probably the biggest one that we've had so far. And that was just before lockdown, which was a real shame because that was starting to get some traction. And it's all about getting people together so that we can talk. but talk on a face-to-face basis, you know, so that when you say something that other people sit there and go, and then back away very slowly, you know, that they actually get what you're talking about and can have a decent conversation with you. That's the whole point of the UK meetups. And then we've got the Love for Crypto conference is on the 10th of October. That's in Manchester. So we changed the date on that because we had to limit the amount of people that were going to be in there if we did it beforehand. So so we moved it from the 15th, I think it was, of September to the 10th of October, so that the room that we've got, we could have more than 30 people in there, including ourselves, because the room's for 250 people, but because of the lockdown rules, they were going to limit us to 30 people maximum, which didn't make any sense. So hopefully that means that you might come to one of my meets sometime. Be really good. It's I'm going to do them all over. I need to go south. I need to go south a bit more. Thought it was wearing a different shirt when we went out on the piss at Manchester. Yeah, you lot left without me, bastards. I had to do I was doing an interview for the zoo. I didn't actually need to be there, but they wanted me to be there. And so that was at 10 o'clock at night. And I did that with Ferdy. Bless him. Love Ferdy. And that was, so I missed it all. And by the time that we finished that, it was gone 11 o'clock. And, you know, you lot would have been pissed as a fart somewhere. So we just sat in the hotel bar and drank till, I don't know, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So, booey. It might be nice afternoon if we all did a cruise, took over the whole ship. That would be fucking fantastic. Do you know that? It would be amazing to be able to do that. Yep, Tina's in for it. Awesome. You can organise that one then. Be good having a do down my end. Devon. Yeah. Yeah. It's oh, casual crypto guy. I would have been there like a fucking shot. I was so looking forward to go out on the piss for you lot. Got my passport. Let's go. That is a brilliant idea. Absolutely brilliant idea, Bill. That's something that we can look to. You know, if you've got, I mean, how many people have we got in? There's not that many of us in the whole of the community that gets in touch. So maybe if we're talking about a few hundred, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a cruise liner, does it? A few hundred people on a large boat, and cruising around Sunday, I don't know, Bahamas. Second Devon. Okay. All right. Well, September, October, November, depends on the weather really, Devon in November. Although have car, will travel. Maybe I'll do Devon in November. Send me a note of where you two are, and I'll pick somewhere in between the two of you. And at least then, if I turn up, I've got 2 other people that can go. Because if I'm going to come all that way, when you come into Bristol, I was in Bristol, Richard. You can't drive a Harley on the boat. I was in Bristol, oh God, last month. But we went to somebody's house and had a meet there because it was still in lockdown. So we kept it on the QT. But I can do a Bristol meet. Actually, what we could do is do a Bristol meet in November and then do a Devon meet in do a Devon meet in November and do a Bristol meet after Christmas. That's it. Don't you say? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I think Bristol would be a really good idea. Yeah, Tina's retired as well. I'm there, let me know. Yeah, we'll do. Right, so we've 17 people in the chat again. I love that number. It's just something about it. Right, 1 hour 20 in. I think that we should say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night wherever you are, and put this to bed now. Torquay and Plymouth. Okay. I'll take some notes nearer the time, and I will. You will move, Tina, and I will bid you all good night. It's 9 o'clock nearly here in the UK, so I've got a gin and tonic sitting on the side waiting for me. So I'm going to go and start having my Saturday night in front of the TV because I haven't watched TV all day, just YouTube. Time to relax. Okay, so catch you here tomorrow night 7:30. Email me, no, Twitter me if you want me to read anything out for you, your ideas and things like that, and we can have a discussion around that. I'll look into maybe see if I can get Zoom in here. We'll see. And maybe I can get people into the chat. If I can start getting people in the chat, we got epic times coming. I just need to work out how to do it. Okay. Right. Good night, all. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Speak to you tomorrow. Bye bye bye.